everybody. Welcome to She Has a Voice with Just a Minister. Today we have two beautiful, lovely ladies. One of y'all already know who Lachelle Hooks is. And we have the beautiful Desi from MKE that relocated to Texas. So I'm going to let each lady introduce themselves before we kick into this show. Lachelle.
Why I gotta be first though? Hey y'all, of course my name is Lachelle Hooks. I am a licensed realtor and I'm a podcast host. I host the Shine Your Light podcast. And yeah, I do some other stuff, but I ain't gonna tell y'all about that right now. So I'm just excited to be on this beautiful queen's show, Jessica, Just the Minister, and excited for the first time to meet the beautiful Desi. And before she introduced herself, I just want to say she's absolutely amazing, y'all. So go ahead, girl.
Thank
My
you.
time. Go ahead.
I
She's
appreciate
so
that. So I'm Desi Grant. I am professionally a youth life coach. I love working with young people. I am by degree a social worker. So I try to incorporate everything I do from that lens. I'm on tour right now, podcast tour. I'm trying to learn how to use my voice. I'm trying to figure out how to speak about what I've been through from a healed place. It's a lot of stuff that we've been talking about, and I haven't really vocalized it, so it's really uncomfortable. But I want to be a public speaker. I want to be able to do my workshops more confidently. So this tour is going to help me do that, hopefully. And I'm also excited to be here on this show. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a guest. Much love. For those of you that does not know,
I ain't get no hug.
Lachelle felt left out, y'all.
Yes, Lord.
But for those of you that does not know, I've been knowing Desi now for almost 4 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, almost 4 years. She's a beautiful lady. I had the pleasure of knowing Lachelle Hooks for what, like 6 months? About how many months?
Has it been 6 months?
About 4 or 5?
Yeah.
About
It's
4 or
crazy.
5.
Yeah.
But it feels like a lifetime.
It
So
does.
today's show is we're gonna talk about putting God first. We also gonna talk about love. We're gonna talk about embracing acceptance after divorce.
Mm.
So for those of you that does not know, I am a 2-time divorcer. No, I'm not ashamed of it. I was just giving my love to the wrong people. Um, During my second marriage, I had to really learn how to put God first. I had to learn to find out who I really was as a person and to take a look at myself. So with that being said, when you put God first, everything will start to be clearer. You can have a better understanding with the direction with your life, a better understanding with your marriage if you're still in a marriage. Also for me, it made me tap into my faith. It made me really stand on His word and His promise. So I'm gonna let each lady take whatever part they want to take, and I'm going. Never mind. I'm gonna start with Desi because Lachelle gave me a look that just like you better not
Don't
start with me. So yeah, we're gonna start with the beautiful Des. At this very moment, she can talk about any part of the topic you want to talk about.
Oh,
Let's talk
goodness.
about your journey. Why did you why did you take the transformation from here to Dallas? Talk about that just a little bit. Whatever you want to share.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Milwaukee, and I love it here. This is all I know. Back when I was a little kid, Capitol Court, I'm talking about, we watched Midtown transform several times. That's how old I am, so don't judge me.
No judgment.
I feel like there's been a pull on me to move south. It wasn't even Texas specifically. It was
Okay.
just move south. It's hotter. Seasonal depression is for real. It's a real thing.
Ooh.
And Milwaukee or Wisconsin has 75% of our weather is gray, cloudy, cold, and it's just depressing. And so the door opened up for me to be able to move to Texas. I have some family down there.
Okay.
And my sister was like, come stay with me. It's okay. You just come with however you need, how long you need. And I was like, God, is this what it is?
Right.
I mean, like, didn't have a job, still don't have a job. But not looking at it from a place of defeat before it even happened.
Right.
Looking at it like this is an opportunity. This is the door that God opened. He went before me. So I just got to trust him.
So basically, you stepped out on faith.
Absolutely.
You stepped out on
Blind
faith, and
faith.
well, I'm gonna let her say that one more time. You stepped out on what?
Blind faith.
And so, since you have stepped out on blind faith, how has it been? Like, have it made you tap into God more?
Absolutely. I think so.
Go ahead.
I'm not shameless plug, y'all. I'm sorry. This is my lifeline. So in 2022, I created God's Plan Christian Journaling Planner. And it's designed to keep God at the center of your plans of your life. This helps me because it incorporates daily, weekly, monthly. You can't do nothing without God. You have to have that mindset. You have to have that in your everyday, how you move, how you walk, how you think. You shouldn't do nothing without God. I mean, even if you do, you can always be pulled back. You can always be recentered. And that's pretty much what this does for me. So yeah, definitely walked out on faith. Yeah, and here we are back in Milwaukee doing a tour.
Yeah, and I can piggyback off of Des. If you don't have faith, you ain't got nothing. Like when I walked away from my marriage, I had to stand on faith that God had me.
Mm-hmm.
Walking out on that, I would say was the best thing I ever done. I mean, the best thing. I celebrated a year of being divorced in April, so I have no regrets. The only regrets that I have from divorce is when I got married to death do us part. But the regrets was before it got too bad, I didn't leave. When the signs was there. That's the only regrets I have. But I thank God not only to have them regrets, but to have the lesson. Because each relationship or anything you face in life has a lesson. But what do you take from that lesson?
Right.
You know, that's something that we have to carry. And Lachelle.
What it do?
Lachelle.
So what part you want to talk about? Because this is gonna be an open discussion. So y'all ain't gotta wait for me to lead the conversation.
So what I wanted to just bring up really quick, because we're talking about a lot of the mistakes that
Right.
have been made and all those lessons that we've learned. And Desi talked about becoming a coach, a life coach to, is it teens?
You,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Yep. Young adults, 18.
Because that everything we go through, the purpose of it is for us to teach somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of curious, like, how did you get into
That was my next question.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, girl.
So Lachelle actually asking that question, so I'm gonna let her finish it since you started.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, how did you start the coaching part? I'm sorry.
Yeah, please
So-
share.
I'm sorry.
No, I like that. I like that.
So when I was younger,
Okay.
I went through a series of, and this is just me in hindsight, looking back. When I was younger, I went through a series of what somebody would call transformations. And so the way that I explain it to people, when you're a child and you become a teenager, there's a transformation that happens. And when you're a teenager and you go into young adulthood, there's a transformation that happens. When you go from young adulthood into being grown, there's a transformation that happens. And this is mental, spiritual, emotional. You become someone, because there's always somebody dying. There's always somebody having a baby. There's always depression. There's always, life just be happening. And it's almost like, the pruning process. This is how God teaches you what you're supposed to do. You have to go through this transformation. And so as I got older and I realized who I was, I became more confident in myself. I came to understand more of who God called me to be and what he wanted me to do. I felt that it was my duty, and I am excited about it, to give back to people who have gone through what I've gone through. And it's not like anything specific, though I've been through a lot. But it's just the fact that I get to impact, empower, support, inspire people who are coming up under me.
So I got a question for both of you ladies. I know I know that we all believe in God. And I know at this time I'm the only minister sitting here right now. So my question to y'all is, how and when did God really come into, how did y'all allow God and accept God to come into y'all lives? And Lachelle, since you've been on a quiet street, you gonna go first. We gonna
I
give
talk a lot,
we
y'all.
gonna give her a minute.
I talk a lot,
No, you
yeah.
don't.
When God came into my life, I think, like Desi kind of just said, it's been, if I look back, it's been so many different transitions, you know, because I can look when I was a little girl and, you know, like the, what is it called, Lord? You know, the people that go door to door,
Jehovah's Witness.
Mm-hmm. So I was going door to door with, you know, people from my church, and, you know, learning the books of the Bible. So I remember being that little girl in that setting and like being, you know, like knowing God, but not on the level that I do now. And then going through certain things in my teenage years that really, you know, showed me, it showed me God, but it showed me more so who I am in God and what I was capable of. And then going into my adulthood, I would say is where I really discovered that in my childhood, in my teenagehood, it was God that had me the entire time, which made the relationship like greater and more, like more important to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's always been important to God. But at what point did that relationship become important to me? You know, that part. So definitely in my adulthood, and it took me to go through a lot of pain to realize who he is and what's possible in him.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring it out.
Girl, they ain't overnight.
That's
I'm figuring it out.
It's an everyday.
It's for life.
It's like Des just said, it's an everyday, and sometimes it's a daily, it's an everyday daily check.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
And the check ain't for other people. The check is for you.
Yeah.
Because we have to realize, like, this journey, God never said we was gonna walk it together.
Right.
It's an independent thing. It's personal.
Work out your own salvation.
Yeah, you got to. Because if he signed my name and I'm doing right, and I'm saying, okay, Lachelle, Des, y'all name ain't in the book. What y'all do? You know, we got to look at it like that. But one thing we supposed to do as Christians and believers, we supposed to tell them. We supposed to tell somebody about God.
Yeah.
Even one thing I learned is they might not be listening, but that's when they be listening the most. Before I call Des, before I turn it over to you, when I really realized and really allow God to come into my life was in 2014. And I mean really realizing who he really was. And that's when I finally say, like, yes. You know, I had to really give God my yes. I couldn't. You know how they say that what's the game they used to play when two people is double dutch. That's what I was doing with life.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I was doing that not in regular life, but also my spiritual life. I was in that double dutch game, and I remember God. Let's just fast forward just to for a few years ago. God said, "You, it's gonna either be them or me." That's just blatantly putting it. He said it's gonna either be them or me. So now I had to really make a choice, and that's when and see sometimes God gotta make you uncomfortable to be comfortable again.
Yeah.
Because we can get so comfortable in our life and in the journey that we're going through and the things that is happening around us till we forget that we are too comfortable.
Yeah.
So God made me uncomfortable. And when he said, look, either the world or me, that's when you really find out who's really for you. That's when you really find out who's against you. And when I really chose him, I saw how many people I lost. And I had to learn the book of Ecclesiastes, 3rd chapter, say that there's a time and a purpose for it. Everything. It's a season. But we have to learn who's in our life just for a season or who's in there for a lifetime. But that's when I really had to wake up to God. When I really accepted who he was in 2014. And then when I really stopped playing with him,
girl, why are you looking at me?
I'm just saying, like, you know how we can play with God. God will allow us to play with him for so long.
He's so good. Like
all
I
the
never
time.
Listen. God is so good. And when you talking about double dutch, I feel like the way you said it was like back when I used to double dutch. And in my head, I'm like, I just double dutched yesterday. So
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
it's like a
That's
daily.
crazy.
It's a daily cleanse, almost like you got to get up intentionally and thank God, ask God to guide you, ask God for His
Yeah.
grace. Like otherwise, you're gonna be outside. Well, I'm gonna be outside, you know, and not even having Him in my head. So
So now, okay.
Y'all
I
touched on
did
so many great points. I'm just
I
trying
did
not
tilt
to.
the I did tilt the show. Let's really dive
Let's dive.
in. Okay.
I got my floaties on. Come on,
I bet you do. That's why you put the pressure on me today. No.
because you can handle it.
you got
How
this.
have y'all coped with life after leaving a relationship? How did y'all cope with life?
I mean, for me, it depends on how that relationship ended. So there were ways that I coped that were very bad. You know, when I was in a bad relationship where I was drinking and doing stuff I had no business doing, and you know, those things lead to you being less than your best self. So there's the negative way of coping, which a lot of people are doing today. And then there's a better way of coping where you're feeding your spirit good things, where you are being intentional about your prayer life. Like Desi said, you're being intentional about spending time with God, um, being intentional just spending time with friends. I think people
Mhm.
undervalue how important that is. And I did for a long time. But just I think for every relationship I was in, the coping portion of healing after that relationship was different depending on what I went through in that relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, what lesson that you could say was the most powerful lesson from that relationship?
Um, the most powerful lesson is to wait on God and stop trying to do everything myself. Because every
Mhm.
relationship that I got in, it was one where I was single and I was like, oh, I'm tired of being single. Okay, I'm gonna pick you. Let's put the suit on you.
You was
Right.
tired of the loneliness.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh-wee.
Exactly. And anytime you say to yourself, and I just examine this for myself, anytime you say to yourself, well, I have been single for a long time, and this person does have these traits, no one's perfect. Anytime you say that, you have to say that to yourself to be able to connect to somebody, there's a problem. No, no
Mhm.
one else, no one is perfect, but I truly believe God's perfect confirmation is going to come with that perfect combination,
Mhm.
with the person that He paired you with.
Yeah.
I have to believe that. So if that perfect confirmation in my heart is not there, like it wasn't with all those relationships, then the lesson now is to tread lightly. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be something else disguised as God, but it could be then.
Yeah. That's challenging. I feel. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was going to turn you
Okay,
away.
skirt.
When you come into when you come into a place where you realize that you've been waiting, I've been waiting, I've been healing, I've been praying,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still not, it. There's two sides to that coin. One
Okay.
coin is one side is I have waited so long, and like it's never gonna come. It's never gonna come, and I'm working on me, and that's making me almost be too picky, almost not welcome, even when it looked like it could be possibly.
Mm.
No, I'm good. I'm healing. I'm working on me. But you don't spend a whole lifetime. I mean, you do spend a whole lifetime, but it's not with the purpose of you being alone
Mm-hmm.
and healing. You're supposed to be able to open up and have your heart. Like how long?
That's
I don't
the
know. I'm waiting
challenge.
to ask
Like
you.
that's the
Like you don't want to wait
challenge.
too long, but also like you can't. You ain't on my level. Like you can't shut
Spiritually.
everybody. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
And that really is the challenge because just you said that to me the first, like one of the first times you met me. You was like, Shell, you need to be open. You need to be open, and you be so protective over yourself. It's like what you let in and what not, and that's what you need the discernment for. But you do get to a point sometimes where you be like, you ain't let nothing in.
Yeah, because that goes back to, whew, Lord, people finna be mad. That's a lot of bullshit. I'll just keep it
You
100.
talking about what she said?
Yeah, no, like that we take in as
Oh,
humans.
okay.
Break
Or the
it
reason
down. You
why
gotta break it down, Jess.
I was
Break it
going to,
down.
but you know, I look at it like this: we take so much, and I don't discredit no man that take what we take. I'm not gonna discredit them, but what we saying is we are some emotional creatures. We are, but we take in so much. We carry so much that people forget, and that's why we lock ourselves away. Like, and then you be like, man, you fine, but no, I want to try you, but no.
You think it's like being afraid to be hurt again?
Exactly. Like you tired of being hurt. You tired of what that thing called? Oh, emotional train. You be on these different emotional trains with everybody else, but then sometimes when you block that out and you be like, I'm just not gonna do it, you can miss your own blessing.
Yeah.
And after my last marriage, I said I ain't gonna believe in love no more. I wasn't gonna love again. I said I didn't want to be married again. And then this is how God works.
Right.
You know,
Because your plans, I don't know, it sounds like you got something else
Exactly.
going on.
Yeah, and I told God, I
You
said,
said,
God,
I
I
got
don't
you,
believe.
God.
I said, God, I don't believe in love no more. I said, but He told me, He said, the problem wasn't you. This was my problem was. I was giving my all and my love to the wrong people, to the wrong persons, and He let me know like what I instilled in you, the right person haven't came along to get what they deserve from you, just vice versa.
Right. They're just stealing somebody else's gift.
Exactly. And then God told me, He said, I'm gonna have to make you over and repackage you. And it's something about when God repackaged you. Because when God repackaged you, baby,
It is.
that next person better look out.
Yeah.
And
They're gonna be so blessed though.
exactly.
Right.
And that's why I told God, I said, this time around, I would no longer play my cards first. Because we hold a deck. We really do. We hold a deck. We can play all them cards. But it's up to you to be cautious with the cards you play and who you playing with.
Yeah.
So when life is all confusion, reshuffle your deck because He gives you chance
Put it in order.
all over again. And then I look back at like I made this mistake in this one. I'm not trying to go this route with this one. And I always reflect on the lessons I learned because sometimes we stay when God is really trying to pull us away. And
Why you keep looking at me?
girl, you to the right, and I look to the right.
But God is trying to pull you away.
But seriously, we all
just
went through that. Like,
Tell
it
you.
was so many times that God had gave me signs, in my marriage, and for all because of how you feel about somebody.
Yeah.
And when you really love somebody, and you in love with them,
You think you're in love with them.
thank you. And God be like, well, I gave you the signs. But because of God know my heart foremost and first. Let's say that. He know each and every one of our hearts. But why? I guess the main question is I constantly ask myself is why did I allow myself to go through that?
Because they feel something for you, a void that you didn't have, that you probably weren't, and this is probably me, patient enough at the time to wait for it. They did something for
I'm glad
you.
you're talking
They
about
felt-
yourself.
Yeah, and I always do. I'm never afraid to say
Me
that.
too.
Yeah.
And whenever I say something, and it's
This
like
is me.
I'm
Right.
coming
Yeah.
from a place
My
of
perspective.
yep,
Yeah.
a place of experience, a place of
I had to do it to you.
Yeah.
So when you said something
ahead.
and it made me why am I going through this? Why the
Mhm.
God? It's not you making a decision. This is just me.
No,
you
go
may not
ahead,
agree.
baby. Go ahead.
It's not you making a decision that you finna go through all this hard stuff and that you made the wrong decision and that you just wrong and that why me. It's because you are experiencing a lesson. God has to put you through that. He has to keep you at a certain level until you figure it out, until you learn the lesson, until you come into alignment with what He told you to do, with who He said that you are. And as long as you are not, however much you're working on it, as long as you till you click, up to that next level click, it's got to be something that clicks in your head. It got to be something that clicks in your spirit, and then He will allow you to be healed from that. And then you won't view it the same anymore. If it's a man and he's a narcissist, or if he's abusive, you're going to continue to go through that abusive relationship until you figure out who you are in Christ, until God tell you who you are. And then you're going to get over it, but you're not doing it. It's not you. You're not just making all the bad decisions. God is he's making you do it. You got to learn. You got to get through that.
Yeah, and them are the toughest time. That goes back to what I said earlier. He got to take you out of your comfort zone to make you uncomfortable. But it's always a lesson when God um be invited in and when you welcome him in, because God don't want to see none of us hurt. But he's a God of fulfillment. He's a God that keeps his promises. And when we accept God for who he is, man, that's the best thing we can ever do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to learn, like, okay, I'm in back into the dating scene, like I'm ready to date again.
Woo.
But I would he's so silly. I would not this time around not have God in it or lead, because God gonna direct my path. And when God direct your path, it's nothing nobody else can do about it. Either they gonna fall in the line or they gonna fall out of line. Because where I'm at in my life and how far I done came and how much growth I have, I can smell BS from a mile away. And sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how much more BS do you want to go through? And leaving my marriage, it wasn't easy. It was hard. Like, I had to adjust not being able to see the, I'm not gonna call their names, but two girls that became my babies. They became my daughters, and to this day, I still claim them as mine, even though I don't see them. They still part of me. You can't just turn that off.
Right.
It was hard. It was many nights that I cried. It was many nights that I had dreamed about them. It was many nights that part of me, no matter what I went through, I still had that longerness for, at the time, he was still my husband at the time. I still wanted him, despite of everything else. That's because I loved him and I was in love with him. And I didn't get married to get a divorce.
Right.
So we got divorced within 11 months in. So that's a lot to process. And when you process that, you have to ask God to give you what you need. Like, I didn't realize what I needed until I had to allow myself to feel. And as humans, we only feel what we want to feel. I told God, I said, this time around, while I'm in my healing stage, allow me to feel every feeling that I need to feel and help me to embrace it. Because the next time around, I would know how to do it if it comes to a break off. But sometimes you can be having a fantastic day. Boom, it can hit you. I'll be like, okay, God, I'm just fine. I was playing with the kids, or I'm out doing me. Yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster. And then God, he often tell me, you told me to allow you to heal properly
And feel
this
it.
time.
You
And
said
to
feel
feel
it.
it. But he was right. And I didn't argue with it. I just wasn't expecting, like, when you having a good time. That's why I tell people, sometimes you gonna have an ugly cry. I'm sorry. That mascara gonna be
On out.
running, the lashes gonna come off, all of that. But I wouldn't take nothing from exactly. I would not take nothing from my journey of this healing. I would not. I would tell people, and I would encourage anyone that's going through, allow yourself to feel, whether it's happy feelings, sad feelings, angry feelings. I don't care what type of feelings. Allow yourself to feel it. Because when you allow yourself to feel it, it's going to take you to a inner body experience in an outer body, if you get what I mean.
Yes, and that's
Because
so powerful.
and when you allow God to do it and you really mean it, you gonna see some things about yourself that you didn't even know about yourself. And then you gonna figure out, I shouldn't have been with you during this time. But because it was a lesson in it, I had to endure it. Look what God did for us.
Right. Yeah.
Look what He did for us.
Got me out of stuff I put myself in, Jesus.
Not only
No,
did He
seriously.
He said,
That
I
part.
gotta. He has a seed
Yeah.
that forgives us for all sin.
Ooh, thank
And,
you, Lord.
and see, I'm glad man can't
Right.
don't cast my wrong,
Right.
Right.
because see what's wrong with men's and women's, they want to talk about what you went through, or they want to say this is what you used to do. That's why it's called a past.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
My past is who made me the strong individual I am today.
mhm.
My past taught me the lessons to life today. My past taught me to change up my parenting. And there was a lot of things that I learned, and just coming from the producer, he know who he is. He taught me some things.
Who is he? Who is he?
Tone,
Shout out.
Mr.
Shout out.
Tone,
Woo, woo.
TDR Network. Uh, he taught me some things that I didn't look at as a parent, and it was things that actually made my life a little better with my kids. But I'm grateful because you don't know where God gonna put you at. Is they say He put you where you need to be right when you need to be,
Mhm. On time.
and He's
On
an on
time.
time God.
Mhm.
So when He did that, and it's always a safe place with Tone, and that's what I love. And
Yeah.
you can pour out, and I can pour in, I can pour
Yeah.
out, whatever. But when you have people that you can really depend on, or can just feel your energy,
Yeah.
man,
It's healing.
it's unspeakable. Like
Yeah.
and not only that, you have a friendship, you have a bond.
Mhm.
People don't believe in that no more, you know. And
Everybody in defense mode.
girl, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
They definitely in defense mode, and so many people think you out to get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can help you get through something.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
You gotta be sensitive towards those type of people,
You
though.
ain't
But
lying.
keep going.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
Like everybody, what y'all said was everybody is in defense mode. Everybody, I'm feeling like people are for self. And there was this guy who told me, "You selfish," but he was like, "But I'm not. But it's not in a bad way.
Right.
Like I understand that you're selfish. Like you need to be selfish." And I'm in my head, I'm like, I am pretty selfish. But what's the line between being selfish, in that process where you healing and making other people feel like they're not a priority, or whatever the reason why he said you selfish? There was something that came up in him that made him feel like he wasn't getting attention, or maybe, I was doing too
Right,
much.
right,
I
right.
don't know.
So for me, because I was always probably that pleasing other people,
Mhm.
whatever it's called, people pleaser. Um,
Mhm.
so I was always the one catering to my spouse, catering to the people around me. And I'm just now in my later years getting to the point where have become selfish for myself. And my mental health is better. My
Yep.
spirit is better. I feel that my relationships are better. I'm building new relationships.
Mhm.
But if I have to tell you no about something, or, if you get mad at me putting myself first in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
like all you're doing is just showing me you. Because if you truly know my character,
Mhm.
if you truly know my character, then you know if I can, I will. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So
Yep.
if I'm asking for something, if I can't do something, whatever it is, if I tell you no, all you're doing is showing me you.
Mhm.
So he was sure. Now he might have wanted a little bit more of you than you can give him. There's more to that conversation, and I know. So sometimes men are just they want all of you, but
Mhm.
until you presented all of you to me,
Yep.
don't
Yep.
expect.
Yep.
But you know what?
anything
That
else.
reminds me. Oh, sorry.
ahead.
That making me go back to when you asked about dating. You said something about dating. Oh my God.
Defensive or
No, it was like earlier when you was talking about coming from. I thought I heard you say something about dating, but
Back in the dating scene that I'm ready to date again.
yeah, like being in a place where. Oh, and then you said something. I done lost it now,
That's
child.
okay.
It come
I'll
back.
come back to
It,
it.
it's gonna come back. But to answer your question, while you think about that, for me, I feel like he said that. The reason why he probably picked up that you selfish is because you have given yourself so much of yourself
Mhm.
to your ex, your kids, your family, your friends. to now you thinking about Desi.
You said it.
Yeah.
You said it.
And
You should.
You said it. Yeah.
until you start loving you and doing what Desi like, you're never gonna be truly happy. And I didn't know what that mean until this journey. Like yes, like we was talking earlier. Yesterday, I was determined to get my hair done. I was determined to love
so
on
cute,
me.
y'all.
Love on me. And it's been a long time since I really just say, skip everything else,
Taking care of me.
taking care of me. And it's self-care day, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a self-care day, you can reset.
Mm-hmm.
You can forget about everything. You ain't got to worry about nothing. And then you can move on to the next phase of your life or the next event in your life or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I had to get to the point that I found out
What you find out, girl?
about me. This is about me.
Something I learned.
About me. I found out I'm really dope.
Period.
Yes,
And
you are.
is. And
I
is.
am really dope. I am a really dope individual. I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I have never enjoyed myself to this capacity since I can remember. And I will not allow myself not to remain in this capacity. Because it took me too long and I worked too hard to get here.
Yeah.
Like Mary J. Blige wrote a song, Gorgeous. That is my motivation. Even when I didn't feel like I was gorgeous. But because of what she went through and because of the things that she experienced, she wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
So every day, I don't care if I walk around with some bonnets and some house shoes and eating a Chico stick. I do not
Period.
care.
Right.
You beautiful. But you have to tell yourself.
Yeah.
Because you want to pull yourself together and you want to be strong for everybody else. But dang, it's okay for the strong to be weak.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I'm sorry, once a month, I'm selfish. Where it's about me. I don't care what's going on with my kids, my mama, my friends, my family, my church. I'm honest. I just do not care.
Once enough is not even enough.
No.
When you think about it.
Girl, I'm working. I'm trying to work longer on more days, but
Yeah.
right now it's working.
Yeah.
Right now I do what I can
Mm-hmm.
without having to be scratch wire, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And when you really find out who you is and loving you, people ain't gonna understand the way you moving, the way you talking, your grooving. They ain't gonna. They gonna be like, oh,
Who she think she is?
Exactly. Oh, what man got her doing that? Baby, ain't God me?
Okay, God did that.
God
He told me to
that.
rest. Relax.
Like, yeah, God
Relax.
did that. And
That's
but
mindset.
people want to see us down so much.
Yeah.
So much. To the point that look what's going on in our world. It's sad, ain't it?
I try not to. Look.
I'm not.
We-
Nope.
we
I was just
try
gonna
not
say
to.
I'm not even paying attention. I can't because then everything
that's why I don't
that I
watch the news
did
no more.
out the window.
Because it seems like every chance you get is something. And
Yeah.
we all go through something. We're going to continue to go through many chapters in our life. Some going to be good, some going to be bad. Some chapters you're going to win, some chapters you're going to lose. But we got to remember one thing. Because God loves us,
Yes, he does.
he's going to make sure we make it through.
Yes,
And
he is.
for him, if nobody else loves me, I know he do.
Okay.
I know he do. And I loves me. I love me some me.
We love you.
You go on my
Right.
Facebook
We
page.
love you.
You can go on my Facebook page, my Instagram page. All you gonna see is mostly pictures of me. I don't care what's going on because pictures speaks 1,000 words.
Mhm.
Pictures tell stories.
Especially when time go by and then you look back like, dang.
Dang, I did
Right.
that.
And then when you really add up the time, like you know what I was going
Mhm.
through at that time,
That's
and look how I'm looking. Thank God I don't look like what I've been
Been
through
through.
because
That's a
they
song.
what they don't know is I was just in the bed crying the whole night right before I came. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, but you put yourself together, you look beautiful, you look gorgeous, and
Yes.
nobody will ever be able to tell
That
Nope.
part.
ever.
Never.
You hold yourself up. I
Yeah.
already know what you've been through. I know your
girl,
story.
you know my story.
Mhm.
And see, I actually enjoy the story. I mean, it used to make me real emotional, but it don't no more. And that's how I knew when I
I
began
ain't
to
got to
actually
that
be
part
healed.
Yeah.
You so
You
selfish.
said you ain't got to that part yet.
I believe I'm healed from it, but I still get emotional.
She ain't over it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah. You
definitely
still get
over
emotional.
it. Oh, I'm over it. I promise you. I am Lord, I'm over it.
You want
Lord,
me to
help
call
me
you?
to say this
You
the
want
way
me to
I
call
feel
you out
it.
on this show?
I'm over it. I just, it's still, it can still hurt. It's like if somebody passed, you think of their
Mhm.
memories. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry.
Yeah,
You have to
You
face the
still,
reality. I feel
Mhm.
like when you really sit in the reality of it,
yeah,
it brings back like, dang, this is really where I'm at. It's more of
Mhm.
a reflective cry
right. You have to
or
examine
reflective,
where the
you know.
tears coming from. Like,
Yeah,
is it coming from a place where you like, woe is me still, or is
right.
it coming from a place like, dang, I
Yeah.
went through that.
And I got through it.
I
Yeah,
survived
that part.
Yeah.
So Des, this
Hmm?
my because I'm coming back to you. Don't think I
I'm
forgot about those
here.
first. My
Why they be
crazy
acting
Coming
like
back
I'm
to
running
you,
away?
like, right.
I'm here.
because I gotta get her because she'll get me before I get her. Um, so transferring from here to Texas and going blinded by faith, and now that you in your own place right now, or you still with your sister? Still with your sister? Okay, so
I think
what?
I'm gonna be with my sister for a couple of, only because she said I could,
Right.
and because I gotta get my money up. Like
Yeah.
you gotta get stable. And I'm sorry, go ahead, because I'm
No,
I'm about
go
to
ahead.
go on a tangent before you even ask the question.
No, okay, so what has your experience like from moving from one space zone into somebody else's space zone, even though it's family? Because I know everybody have rules and you have to adjust to their living style.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging has that been for you?
Um, not really challenging.
That's dope.
It's because you're a Virgo.
Yeah, I'm
And they sisters.
I'm very
Yeah.
particular, about my lifestyle, but I don't think I'm intrusive.
Okay.
I clean up. I love my house to be clean. So my space and any other space I use clean. There's not a burden in that way. Um, Also, I am for the last 3 years. I've been healing from this separation, from this divorce process, and being by myself is so rejuvenating. Like my sister probably don't see me. She probably don't even. She got to call me and text me to see if I'm good. Because I be in my own space, working, praying all the time, just making sure that I have everything within me to move forward, to keep moving forward. So
I love
So what would be two examples you could give to people on this live that is give them a positive and a negative of this journey?
um, hmm,
It's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, because I just want to say, it feel like I could say more than 2. That's just
Yeah.
what I'm picking up off her energy.
yeah, it's definitely more than two. It's a lot of good. My mindset is gratitude, so I don't even allow myself to stay on the bad stuff. Now, I could have ideally, if I would have moved to Texas, I would have had both my children with me. I would have had a U-Haul, packed up my whole
Right.
house, had another house to go to and live in that was owned, paid for.
Right.
My children would have been. I would have already had a job. My children would have already had a school picked out. I would have already knew what community I wanted to be in. I would have had all of that laid out, and then I would have moved.
Okay.
But God didn't make it happen that way. He literally uprooted me out of Milwaukee. Like, imagine dirt and roots just hanging
Right.
while he picked me up and put me in Texas.
Because I know when we came back from Virginia, you was going through the same going through some of that then.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put your business out because that's your place
Yeah.
if you want it out. But me and you was going through a lot during that same time, but we was able to just tell each other it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
We might not understand it or
Yep.
we might not know the outcome, but that's one thing I can say. Me and you connected
Oh,
on
excuse me.
where we both was being positive but also being hurt too, dealing with
Yeah.
the pain and the hurt from our relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't understand why.
Yeah.
And sometimes God got to get you by yourself
Yeah. So you
with
can
no distraction.
lean not into your own understanding, okay? Because if it was up to me, I would be like, what? This is the other reason why I asked God to be blind. I need for me not to see it. Because if I see it, I'm not going to want to go through it. I'm going to want to give up. I'm going to want to stop because that's too much.
It's a lot, and that's different emotions,
Yeah.
and that's different pain levels that you have to deal with. And boy, don't pain. I don't like pain. I'm sorry, I just had a flashback, but pain is hell. Pain, and when you think about pain, we go through pain every day, but it's different levels to pain. And when you learn them levels, Whew, when you learn them, I'm gonna leave that alone. Lachelle.
What up, though? I got a couple questions for y'all. I'm trying.
Okay,
Come
I'm
on.
gonna let her
Come
answer
on.
the
Y'all some
question.
questions?
Yes.
Yeah, come on, boo, because I got you.
Because I didn't realize both of y'all were two strong, beautiful Black women that went through divorce.
Yeah,
Still
And-
going, still going, still pushing
Yeah.
my way through.
and feel better after. So there's so many women that y'all can speak to being in relationships, being in, marriages that didn't necessarily work out, that we gave our all to, because y'all are the type of women you give your all in a marriage.
Yeah.
And you feel like I'm
Shit,
good.
I'm gonna be okay.
You feel
No, I
good.
feel-
No,
yeah,
you-
It was
I
a
mean, going-
season. It was a
Yeah.
season of that, but
Yeah.
you glowing.
You in
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
You're beautiful. You're glowing. You're doing your thing. You're becoming who God called you to be,
Right.
which you couldn't do in that
I couldn't.
situation. Right.
Yeah.
Personally, you want to
I'm excited about that part. The fact that I'm not in it for one.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with time. Over time, God will heal you. But I definitely look back and I feel like I'm a completely different person,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a happy person, and I can quickly snap out of it. Whereas before, it took me a while. I was down for the count. I was out for a week or two. You know what I mean?
Can I ask y'all something?
Yeah.
Because Megan Good was just talking about this, and it was so interesting how she talked about, I didn't want to go through this marriage for 10 years for it to be a divorce, but I'm glad that I did because I learned something from it. What would y'all say? What was at the core that you think you got from it?
Ooh.
That's part one. What was at the core? Something that you really think you got from that marriage that made you better, and then, or going through that situation overall that made you better. And then you can just answer that part first.
For me,
I'm learning, y'all. Go ahead.
for me, that I could not continue with my marriage, is quite a few reasons. Infidelity, the abuse, and the way I'm moving and grooving now. I knew that my husband ex-husband, sorry y'all, ex-husband, would not be able to handle it,
Mhm.
because he has the assumption of every guy that I knew or knew me, I was sleeping with.
Mhm.
So it was the insecurity on his behalf. But the valuable lesson I learned was I had to get out of that marriage. Not only because of what happened, because God had different plans for my life.
Mhm.
God had plans for me that He had installed in me a long time ago. But because I kept feeding myself into the persons I was dealing with,
Mhm.
it was taking so much away from what God was calling me to do, and the things, not only that, but to follow my dreams. And it's sad to say that I went through it, but not only did I go through it, I went to Dallas in September, got confirmation, went to we was in Virginia, and I got more confirmation, and I was talking to a lady named Chantel, Chantel. We was talking, and it was some things that I didn't realize that I did not forgive myself for.
Mhm.
And me and her was sitting down and we was talking, and she said, "I'm telling you, the spirit say, forgive. It's okay to forgive yourself."
Mhm.
And I was telling her about some areas that I felt like I should not have forgave myself for, and I knew it was God talking to her because I never went into details. And so with that being said, it gave them 2 months gave me so much,
Mhm.
and it didn't only just give me confirmation, but it gave me strength. And I also, after that conversation with Chantel, before, when I finished the book, A Shepherd in a Storm, and when I sent it off to my editor, I wrote a book, It's Okay to Forgive Yourself. And it's just basically talking about why you should forgive yourself and who the forgiveness is for. So that book is coming out soon too. But I thank God for allowing me to be in them two states at the right time.
Mhm.
And I thank Him for allowing me to really realize how much I'm capable of doing it by myself.
Yeah, yours sounds like the situation you described sounds like a birthing process. Like it
Yes.
was all like a birthing process.
Yes.
Painful,
It
but
was.
something
It was.
Had to let
Yeah, I had to
give
be
birth.
rebirthed.
something was gonna come out of it.
Yeah. And with the rebirth,
Mhm.
it checked in reality, right? Basically, it checked my reality. It didn't check my reality for my friends.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a personal experience, a personal journey. And being able to go through that, I wish I would have went through it a long time ago. I'm gonna be honest. I wish what I know now I knew then.
That would definitely help. Hindsight is 2020. You know that you only saying that now because you've experienced it and
Right.
you're here now. But back
Probably want
then,
to survive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really, and
but
you
then
know
you
what?
was
That's
in it.
true.
You just all you could do was just live through it. You couldn't
And I
like now you living through
Yep.
something happening and you living through it and you're gonna learn from it. And when you get 10 years from now, you're gonna be like, I wish if I would have known what I knew now.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is not to know. The point is to go through it and learn it.
Yep. And then I asked God, and I'm a firm believer in the asking God to whatever help me, let me help somebody else.
Yeah.
Because God will give
Sure
you
does.
the ability to help somebody else so they don't have to suffer
Right.
the amount of pain that you suffer or take as many losses
Yeah.
as you did.
You know what I love about you?
What?
I'm sorry to
Go
interrupt
ahead.
you, but you said something. You said you want to be able to help people go through what you so that they don't have to experience it as harsh as you did. And I feel like you're doing a really great job at that.
Thank you.
By speaking your truth for one, but also you got books, you have podcasts, you speaking about it, like you're doing the work of that exact thing. I want people to be able to come to me and feel like they can do all things because of what God let me be able to do.
And you know why my podcast name, She Has a Voice?
No, I don't, but I want you to tell me.
So my podcast was named She Has a Voice is because my trauma started when I was 8. My trauma didn't stop till I was 33. So y'all can get the picture. I ain't gonna go in details. But the reason why it's named this is because for so long I was broken. So long I was in silence. So long I let everybody else be my voice box. And when I had to learn that I have a voice. I used basically in one of my first marriage was I was allowed to use my voice box when it was convenience for him, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Second marriage, it was either he say what he wanted to say, and it was it. Right. But that's how it came about. And I went to this event at the art gallery, and I was sitting there, and I was listening to what Quentin and other podcasters was saying, and I'm listening to the spirit. Cause see, when the spirit get to talking, I zone everything else out. Mm-hmm. I can be in the room, but you'll look at me and be like, hey, but it's really me zoning out listening to God. Mm-hmm. And God said, look, She Has a Voice, it's gonna be your podcast. Mm-hmm. So I prayed on it. After that night, I prayed on it. And this is how the devil worked. I remember telling Tone, like, I want to talk to you about some stuff. And it just seemed like it was so much going on and everybody needed Tone. And I felt like it's not gonna happen. I felt like it wasn't gonna come about. And we just happened to go to a thing at PNC Bank around that corner in there. We went to that and we came back in this room and me and Tone finally got a chance to talk. And once we talked, that's really where it got birthed at. Because I stood out on faith. I stepped out on faith. And I had to trust the process. So my podcast is really to let people know if you too scared to tell your story or you too scared to speak up, you got somebody that's willing. And it's for me to share what God want me to share, not necessarily what I want to share. And just like when I get up and preach, I allow God to let the word, it has to come to me first, but I allow God to have my story to help other people where I can relate to the Bible more. And I don't preach like normal people. I preach according to what the Spirit gives me. But I want people to know, like, here, my podcast is a safe haven. Yeah. You can say what you want to say. Yes, it's air, but if you don't want the world to know who you are or what you've been through, you ain't gonna say it.
Right.
And I have no shame no more. And so that's the real reason of She Has a Voice. Yeah. Because so many people talk, but how many people really listen to what's going on. Um, because I wish, like, I so many times, I wish I had people in my corner when I was suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people who thinking that about when they hear you. They say, I wish
Mm-hmm.
that somebody was here to listen to me when I was going through the same things that she
Yep.
was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and it's just really how you embrace it, because a vic a s- mm,
Tell them, girl.
mm.
Mm,
a thriver to another thriver
okay.
can always recognize the signs. And see, people gotta realize once again, it's not domestic violence, it's not the only abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got mental, physical, and
Yes.
emotional.
Yes.
The worst abuse I want to say is mental,
Mm-hmm.
because mentally, when your mind ain't right,
Mm-hmm.
ain't nothing right.
Yeah.
And that verbal abuse, it
So
just
I got a question.
gets to me.
So speaking of abuse, and I don't mean to stay here, but when you're thinking about like abusive relationships, whether it be emotional or mental, how do you keep your now that you're out of it? How do you keep yourself from feeling the pain of that? Like, what are you doing now to uplift and make
Uh,
yourself?
how do I keep myself from it? I tell myself I deserve everything that God promised me.
Yeah.
I deserve to be treated with love. I deserve to be treated with respect. If you can't address me by one of my titles, don't address me at all. I no longer give people my time or my energy because I work too hard to get here.
Yeah.
Most of all, I be open and honest about what I went through, and I'm learning to tell people
Mm-hmm.
what's my triggers.
Yeah.
And for so long, I didn't know how.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't know how to tell people what my triggers was,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to learn that. I had to learn it, and now it's like, okay, you can say things and it don't trigger me because I know what I work towards, and I know what I have to work through. And this process ain't easy,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that's how I keep it separate. And I always go into friendship or whatever type of a relationship it is with an open mind and an open heart, because you never know. You just never know. And people always tell me fam, you drop a lot. You drop so much on me, but it's not for me to make you feel bad. Don't think I'm picking on you, but it's not for me to make you feel bad. I can only speak what God give me, and if it's heavy, that means you needed to hear it. And I'd have talked to so many people, but because I pour into so many people, sometimes my spirit is weak.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sometimes you just need to be by yourself
Mhm.
and have that self-care time and
That's
pour
when
back
God
into
prefer
you.
you, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
He prefers you weak. He prefers you low
and
down
vulnerable.
because that's when you seek him.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we
That's
just
Yeah, the Fantasia said it best. You gotta give God an ugly praise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We want to be all fixed up, and I tell God I don't want to be fixed up when I'm praising you, because I need to praise you in every season of my life. I don't care if I'm pretty, ugly, happy, sad, broken, or not broken. I need to learn how to praise you no matter what. And God only wants just a small bit of your time. And people think you gotta praise God for a whole hour. So no, a simple thank you
if
for
it's
what you
on you,
done.
but
Right?
also
Is it on you?
yeah.
It's just a simple thank you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta give God thanks for just waking you up in the morning. Sometimes you gotta just give God thanks for keeping your mind. Because see, the mind's a tell for things to waste. So if you waste your mind, what good are you? What do you really have left? And I thank him for everything. I thank him for letting me roll over in the bed and open my eyes,
Mhm.
because somebody didn't get that opportunity. And when he gives it to me, I'm grateful. Somebody couldn't walk around their house and check on their children, but I'm grateful. Not only if I'm grateful, I'm humble, I'm thankful, because it could have been me not seeing my children.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me for giving him what is required. And when you give God what is required of you, he's going to bless you double.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I don't want my blessings to stop. And I tell God, bless me small, because I don't know how to handle the big blessing. I'm just gonna be honest. Because you see God blessing people with all the big blessings, but then they forget about it. They only want to praise God
So
when things are good.
So what you saying is that you want the big blessings. You just want to remember that God did it.
Exactly.
Because that's just something that happens too. For
Yeah.
me, I always get great, which is why I feel so humbled when I'm like weak and I'm broken and I'm not, like me being taken. I'll be telling my sister I'm homeless, but she be like, "You're not homeless," but I'm okay with it though.
Right.
Because when I'm down is when and this is just unfortunate, it's when I seek him the most. And when he blesses, I can count my blessings. I can see them because I'm coming from nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I always ask God,
you coming from nothing to
this
something.
came from you. That
Yep.
it wasn't me.
That it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good, y'all.
But we
This is good, y'all.
she thought she got off the hook, Dez.
I ain't listening.
She thought she got off
I'm
the
on
hook.
the hooks.
No, you ain't on the hook.
She on the hook. She been
But,
on the hook.
There you go.
My question is to you is, how have you dealt with the acceptance of your last relationship?
Oh, the last one. Oh, the cheater.
Mm-hmm.
The cheater who?
Girl,
I missed something.
You missed something off the air.
Well, no, on the air. I talked about it on my show.
You did. So did. I forgot. Brought back my memory.
I'm pretty much an open book, y'all. Yeah, he cheated with several women, several women, and is trying to come back into my life like a changed man, and I'm sure he has changed. Honestly, I do believe there's some change in him, and if y'all met him, y'all would love him.
That's all.
If you really talk to him and you really met him, you would actually love him because he's a good character.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe that we're supposed to be in a relationship together or be together.
And that's
but
how
we can still be cool. We're cool.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about my
but
ex-husband.
You can't lead me in a marriage.
Nope.
How long was you
in?
We can be friends. I can respect you. We can communicate. We can hang out if you like. But you're not my husband.
No, you're not my husband.
And I don't have to.
That's what it is.
That's just what it is.
It doesn't matter what else.
That's what it is.
Do how many conversations? Nothing's gonna change that.
Yep.
You know what? I went to this event earlier. It was talking about relationship, marriages, divorces, and all that. So it was 2 questions that was asked that still ringing in my heart. It said, "Who did I marry, and why did I marry this person?"
Ooh.
So even you can, vice versa. You ain't even gotta say married. You can say dating. Mm-hmm. And the lady, Miss Monk, First Lady Monk, she was telling us. She said, if you have not really asked yourself in the previous relationship these questions, ask yourself now. And then when you go farther down the line and it go months in, ask yourself what changed from the beginning to now.
That's good.
And then ask God, why is I'm with her, or why is I'm with him?
That's good, because that, I realize now, has to be my number one question. Why? Why am I attaching myself to this person? Mm-hmm. What are they helping me with? How do they impact my mood? How do they impact my spirit? How am I elevating them? You know what I'm saying? What's the why? Is it because I just want someone next to me? Is it because I want to build, this picture? Or what's the why? Did God confirm this? Does he pray for me? Does he pray with me? Is he covering me? Do I feel safe with him? Mm-hmm. That is the why. But a lot of people, the why is financial. A lot of people, the why is loneliness. A lot of people, the why is situational. And that's why they go through the trauma that's attached to all those other things, because it was never solid in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm looking at the why. I think everybody should be.
I agree with that 100%.
Right.
And why am I with this person, and when did I get what was the 2 questions you said? Who did I marry, and why?
Why did I marry?
Who did I marry? My ex-husband is a great. It reminds me of you when you described the guy. He's intelligent, kind, a giver. He's a Taurus. He's just that guy.
Yeah.
But he's not for me. And I feel like when I got married, it was because in my head, I thought, because I am a wife, because I identify with being a wife, that I'm supposed to be married. Yeah. And I forced it. And I feel like I'm the reason why we got married in the first place. Because I was like, yeah, we need to get married. Like, this is something that has to happen. And he wasn't saying no. I don't want to marry you. He was saying yes, but it wasn't, either we weren't supposed to be married or it wasn't the time for us to get married. And it's only looking back, everything is 2020 looking back. But yeah, I'm very careful and intentional about how I move with men. The thing that I say now is, if you didn't ask God about me, then I'm not for you. Because God knows how to treat me. I know how to treat me. I know who I am without you. And when you come into my life, you have to have understood who I am in God, how I'm his daughter. So imagine like going to some man's house asking his daughter. Exactly. So that's how I see it. And if you're not doing that, then you're not for me.
That's so good. Did you ask God how you're supposed to treat me? That's so good. That's so good.
But and then she also said, ask the partner, do you know God? Do you know him? Because for so many relationships, I didn't ask them that. I knew who God was. And I felt like some of my relationship, I kind of forced God on them.
Girl.
But I did.
Story of my life.
I think I did. And
read this book.
People talking about that. You just too into God now. Oh. I say no, I'm not into God enough.
Right.
Because all them times that He had kept me covered, I shouldn't be here.
It's so crazy.
I'm just being honest. It's all them times I'll be like, God, I know I shouldn't, but I thank you.
Yeah.
Because my work is not done. My purpose is not done. And I will forever, and I do mean forever, keep God first in anything that I do.
See, this is how I look at it. Because I was a person that as soon as you connect, as soon as we was together, because I'm gonna say you want to be my boyfriend, they're gonna say yes. Then we're gonna be together. And then I'm gonna try to make this work. But now we were having fun, we were doing all this stuff, we was kicking it. But now I gotta get back to the real me. This is still me, that's still me too. But the primary version of me, is rooted in God. So that now we're in a relationship. Now, okay, I'm ready to go back.
Right.
We had fun out here, but now I want us to read the Bible. I want us to watch TD Jakes, despite your opinions on them. I want us to, listen to the word and all this and that.
Yeah.
And for every single one of those incidents, they was all like, or relationships, they were always like, I like the fun part. I want to hang out. I don't want to, one person said, we can watch TD Jakes, but we ain't gonna talk about it. Type of mindset. Mindset.
That breaks my heart.
Yes. So it's just thinking back to those situations that women, myself included, be in, where we try to play house and build those families.
Force it.
Yeah. And now after those situations, now I think when you said we're too picky, now looking at it, I don't think we are
enough.
I think we just recognize
we want what we want and how we want,
and we recognize so many characteristics now because we went through so many traumatic situations. I recognize this about this new person now because of what I went through with this last person or the person, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So,
and then I'm gonna tell you, if you don't pay attention to that and recognize those lessons, you're gonna meet the same person. You're gonna keep meeting the same person.
Yes, and with this, that's probably why. The ex, that's probably why.
There's a saying that say you never miss your well till the water runs dry. So what happening is a lot of people that had the well didn't know how to drink the water.
Oh, they trying to come.
And that's me putting it in.
They thirsty.
That's me putting it in a nice way. Cause I can get provoked. Don't get me wrong, but you have the whole fountain in front of you. But people are not careful with the fountain. And I know kids watch my show, so
I feel like that might be like a man thing. And no disrespect to any men who are in Christ, who are walking in purpose and on purpose, like trying to get closer to God. But it's a lot of men who aren't. And when it comes time to like watching TD Jakes and taking notes, and let's talk about it. Right. How has this affected your life?
Right.
They don't want to. Right. But it's not just spiritual either. They don't want emotionally or mentally to tap in to that hard stuff, to that the painful
But don't
part.
pretend like you will or did to get close to me.
That part.
Because
Okay.
this is a part of
Yep.
like
But
my foundation.
You know what God do for His own?
But go ahead. But I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
piggyback on that real quick because what I noticed looking back on it was they didn't want me to be close to God.
Mhm.
They didn't want me to listen to these messages. They didn't
Mhm.
want those things because my eyes, my vision became clear
Yep.
the closer I got to God.
Yep.
The closer I get to God, the more clearly I see
Mhm.
you.
Yep. Which
Your
is ideal. Like,
intentions.
wouldn't you
Yes.
want to be seen?
No, they don't.
I'm not like
They don't want
trying
be
to
seen in
hurt
the
you.
dark.
I
They
don't want
want the
to.
light shining.
That breaks my heart
does
because you are God's child just like I am. And if all of the things that I'm doing, I'm reading my Bible, I'm praying, I'm asking God to guide me.
right,
Why wouldn't you want that same thing? And
'Cause they
for
don't
me to
want-
hold you
yeah.
accountable, the one who I love you.
and that's gonna help them grow and be better. And that's
Yes.
gonna, but they don't
Ooh,
want that. They don't
child.
want that. And they want you to just serve
And be
them,
okay as they are.
And
Exactly.
cater to them.
But
As
no,
they are.
Yes, babe. No, babe.
But
How
yeah,
you
see-
like your
See,
dinner?
we are women. Speaking for myself, I am personally, and I believe y'all are as well. But I am a woman that believes that there's strength in service. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm not a weak woman because I'm gonna rub your feet. I'm not a
Mhm.
weak woman because I'm gonna run your bath water and make sure you good. That takes strength in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am such a powerful entity within myself that if you don't treat me with certain standards, if you don't treat me a certain way, then no, you're not gonna get that from me.
Because I'm not safe.
Yeah.
I don't
You don't
feel
feel-
safe to even let
To
myself go,
that
to be
part.
soft and
That part.
give. Yeah.
Yes.
They
That's okay.
always
Yeah.
say it's okay to put your guard down. But what did you do to make me comfortable to put my guard down?
Mhm.
So just to give an example, the person that cheated on me, he gets a different version of me today. He
Mhm.
doesn't get the same,
Mhm.
and he keeps thinking
Trying to figure it out.
that
Like, why
it's
you
gonna
acting like that?
change,
Why you
and
acting-
it's not gonna
Mhm.
change because my wall is not. My wall
Mhm.
was completely down, with you to a certain extent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was down enough for you to be able to show me who you are,
Yep.
and there to be a possibility that we could be more.
Yeah.
Now it's just like it doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
do. You could be the president tomorrow, and I will clap for you and be happy for you. But I want to
Mhm.
attach myself to you,
Yeah.
not permanently in that light. Unless God come down and tell me directly, this is it,
Yes.
then it ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people they want so much from you, but what is they want you to put out what is they putting in.
That part.
We fail to realize we're quick to put out.
Right.
We are.
Because we're givers.
We're
So you
givers.
have to be careful.
Yep.
And
That's what I was
you got
asking
to-
her with the birthday.
Yeah.
yeah, for me, that's why I say this time around I would not play my cards first.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know me. I have a big heart.
Yes.
I really do. I have a heart of gold, and
Yes.
sometimes I'll be like, "Why you bless me with this type of heart?" Sometimes it's okay to ask God that. It's
Mhm.
okay to question God. The Bible tells you to question Him.
Mhm.
But for me, I have to literally ask God. But this time going through all of what I went through, I asked God to help me to manage my heart
Mhm.
and manage what to give and what not to give for
That's
me.
good.
Because for so long,
Yeah.
I can say what I like to do for a guy
Mhm.
because that's genuine me.
Mhm.
And if it don't make me smile from the inside, that means I can't. I'm not supposed to do it.
Mhm.
But one thing about it, and that's not just with a guy. That's just with my friends, my family.
Mhm.
If they come to me and say, "Hey, I such and such, I need this," okay, it's between me and that person.
Mhm.
But what I don't like, if I do something, they ain't for you to go back and tell everybody. Then if I did it for you,
Mhm.
that don't mean I'm gonna do it for that person or that person. You know how
Oh,
people
telling
is.
somebody
Jessica
like,
gave
for
me a
them to come.
popsicle.
Go get it.
Now I go get our popsicle.
Yeah,
Only have-
yeah.
exactly.
So with me, that was one of the huge lesson I learned through that healing process to ask God to help me to manage my heart, because I'm a giver.
Mhm.
I'm a giver. I'm a gifter. When I see my fellow people around me happy, it makes me happy.
Mhm.
And I want everybody deserve to smile. Everybody deserve to be happy.
But also, here, this is a lesson that I'm learning.
Listener.
So it's two things. One, I'm learning to let people go.
Mhm.
I'm learning to leave them where they are, where I found them, I guess. The other thing
But
is
they keep coming back.
They like leeches.
They keep coming back.
They leeches we
Go
can't
ahead.
get rid of.
It is not my job to be in a place with people, and because this is people pleasing, this is what I'm trying to get out of. It's not my job to make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job to gauge the temperature in the room. And if there's someone who is not, you know, willing to give or not willing to allow this to be a safe space, then that just means that I have to kind of back up a little bit. You know what I mean? To protect me.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not responsible for your emotional well-being. I am not responsible to heal you or to help you heal. I just like I have to take my quiet time and pray and get centered. I hope and pray that everybody that's around me is doing the same thing.
Yes.
So that we don't bleed on each other, so that we don't cause harm to each other. Vicarious trauma, like it's a thing, you know. So
yeah, that's good.
I used to be in a place where I would be like, "What's wrong? Oh my God!" Like that is. I still am. Like I want to know that you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love you and I care about you, but for the sake of my emotional well-being and for me not falling back, I can't fall back into that.
We're not God.
Nope,
we're not. And I think a lot of people become too stressed and too heavy. And I was talking to Ty the Guy about this because sometimes, shout out to Ty the Guy, sometimes we think like we can solve everybody. We can be the hero in everybody's story, and no, you cannot.
We can't.
No,
we
sometimes you gotta
it's
give it to
draining.
God. Let God do that.
But
You
he'll
know.
give you the ones you supposed to help people. Help.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
But foremost and
But
first,
it won't be hard.
the
for you.
biggest mistake
Right.
that we
It
have,
won't be draining,
Right,
and
Exactly.
unbearable. It'll be
Yes.
like I'm happy to help you.
right,
right?
Yeah.
But the biggest problem we have, and this is just everybody. We call on everybody but God first.
I don't call on nobody. So that's my issue. But most people call on everybody.
Okay,
else.
introvert.
Then
Yeah, I
call
don't have-
God.
I don't
My
have
issue is
nobody.
I don't call nobody. I only call God.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
God be
and
like, call
That's
somebody.
definitely. I was just talking to Savannah about that. Like, I don't have friends. I don't. I
Well,
just
all of my friends know I don't call them either. I
Mm-mm.
love
You sure
them so
don't.
much. I
Nope.
love them so much. My best friends, 10 years, 20 years. I don't call nobody.
I did my sister. Like, I got a sister
I
that
got a
I've been
sister.
friends with since for 20 plus years,
Mhm.
and I call
but not
barely,
every day.
but not enough.
But
But
that relationship is always
Yeah.
there. You got people
yep,
like
that's
that.
sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's true. If it's like you haven't talked to somebody about 10 12 years, when you see them, it's just like, hey, we just talked.
Mhm.
Exactly.
It's a bounce back.
Right.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that everything in life is a bounce back. You know, it's
That's good.
how you center yourself. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
is remembering to keep God first. Remember to take accountability for what you did and did not do. Acceptance. We have to really learn the key thing of acceptance. And most of all, accept you.
Yeah, that's
Let
a
me
big
say
one.
that first.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
Accept you for who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And when you accept you, that next woman, the next man gonna respect you
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
in a way that you deserve to be respected. Because I had to learn that to accept me. I
Yeah.
did. It's a lot during this last
I got a lot of
process.
inside jokes over here. Go ahead.
You irritate.
You should say them out loud.
Right.
A lot going on here, guys.
It's a lot. Like seriously, all jokes aside, I had to learn to accept me
Yes.
because that's not always easy. It's really not. And then
It's a process.
yeah, dang yeah. Like
You
we-
sound so fed up. Like,
like I was
it's
really
like you sound so fed up with life, but also like I can hear that you are coming.
Yeah,
You know, but at the same time, it's like,
back in my
but dang,
yeah.
I'm just realizing life be
like man. But
When
you know,
accept you though, you like
Yeah.
walking into your power. You stepping into your power when you accept you. But I think we might be talking about it in two different ways, or it could be the same
Okay.
way. I want you to
clarify.
like because it seemed like it was a process, partially a struggle.
it was a struggle.
Okay,
It was a struggle because
define you accepting you and what that looked like.
That's good.
ooh,
Let's hear that.
you got jokes. For me, it was
I'm silly. That's a part of me accepting me.
It's to be. I wish I had a sense of humor. Like
People think I'm super professional, and
Right.
but the people that are closest to me know I'm
Right.
a little mini comedian.
we should hang out.
So girl, you love
Sorry,
her.
off camera.
Like,
Sorry.
you love her.
Yeah.
Like you love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, it felt like to accept me, like because of the trauma and the stuff I went through. 95% of me felt like I was supposed to, or I had to go through it, and I'm not ashamed of it. I used to be ashamed to say that I was supposed to or I had to go through it.
That's one of
Um,
Satan's weapons.
Yes.
Shame.
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants you to feel shame.
Yeah, and
That's good.
let's get into my next part. I fell into a state of depression. Anybody that knows me knows that I love my house to be a certain way. I love my comfort zone. I fell into a really bad state of depression, and I was telling myself that I'm not worthy to be here. I don't deserve to be here. I'm tired of being broken. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being abused. I'm just tired of just life. And
Been there.
I remember in the garage before it became a storage. I used to go out and sit in my garage, and it would just be me, myself, and God. And I remember telling God, like, I don't accept me. I don't love me. I don't love me because of these reasons. God already know the reasons of why we don't do or why we don't accept certain stuff. But because of who he is, he wants that intimate time with you. He wants you to really talk. So I remember I had lit my fire pit up in there, and I was there. I was there for at least like 4 or 5 hours, and I was just telling God everything, like the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, happy and sad. I remember telling God every single thing, and I told God, I said, I don't deserve. Like I don't deserve me. My kids don't deserve me. It was just so much, and it's just me just
Pouring out.
pouring out.
Yeah.
And God said the problem is because you feel like you're not worthy.
Whatever you believe.
That's the reason why you keep feeling that way. But because of what I done, and because I have yet kept, if I may paraphrase it, in the way that I have kept you through it all, you are worthy. But I need for you to accept you. And when you accept you, I can really work on you.
Girl, tell the camera that.
So
Tell these.
God told me when I accept me, then he can really work on me. He told me I was a person that had to accept everything. I didn't know how to do that. I really did not know how to accept me. And I had to ask God, teach me. Give me scriptures out the Bible. Give me direction. Give me clarity. And sometimes when God would give me stuff, I'd be like, I swear,
I did that today.
like seriously, I would do that, and then God said, "But you said you don't accept you. You asked me, but I told you I can't do what I need to do in you until you accept you."
What are the best parts
That's
of you
good.
and worst part of you? What would you say? The best part of you and the worst part of you?
The worst part,
Both.
I would chop your head off in a heartbeat. I'm just gonna be honest.
So you're protective.
I'm very protective.
Okay.
Yeah,
Of you?
Of
Or
your
of-
family, your
okay.
My
Your
people.
kid, okay.
My
Right.
people. If you in my bubble, you in my
You're
bubble.
protected.
which I've
I'm
sensed
protected.
that. Yeah. I've
Um,
sensed that. Yeah.
What's the best
Best
part
part.
of me?
Oh, wait a
'Cause
minute.
that's about learning you and
Wait a minute.
accepting you.
That don't sound like. I mean, besides
Yeah.
chopping the head off, literally, that's not
That's
gonna
not a bad
happen,
thing.
right?
Right.
But what do you mean? Because essentially, you going to bat for people, protecting people, advocating. That's
Yeah.
not a. That sounds like the best of you. Like,
Yeah,
what's the worst?
The worst,
Is it probably the worst because of how it is perceived?
yeah.
Don't nobody know the why. They just see it
Yeah.
pop off.
I can
Yeah.
feel that. Because if I'm
I
in your
didn't want to
bubble,
say that.
Right.
I wouldn't
I
feel
didn't-
the
right.
hurt, the pain from
But
getting my head
outside-
chopped
I didn't
off.
even want to
Right.
say it, but she going it all in a way. But yeah, but I could say one of my strong strength is protecting my people.
See,
Same.
I knew it. I knew it.
Protecting my people because
Same.
just I'm gonna use this. There's if you say some girls coming up to your house and they trying to fight you,
They better not.
baby. No, I'm just using it as a figure of speech, as an example. I better not get that call. Cause you coming for mine. You coming
Right.
for one of my peoples. That means you won't have a whole army behind
Oh,
you. You know.
goodness. That feels so,
So
good.
that's just an example. But I was dead serious, even though I used it as an example.
Mhm.
But people need somebody that, hey, you know, you get down, I'm gonna get. I don't keep just that. You know,
So you're talking about physically.
yeah,
Right.
If somebody physically brought their body to my house,
yeah.
but
So,
because I'm not the type of
And
person, she
spiritually,
probably
you got
not
your back.
right.
Yeah.
So I want to know how you are. Keep that same energy spiritually.
Somebody say
Oh, I'ma
something
pray for
behind
you.
your back.
Right, somebody
probably
talking
pray
about
for
me.
you,
Yeah.
I'm praying for you.
guiding
One thing I have
all
learned
people out.
Right. Oh, that's a hard one, especially the older generation.
because I'm good at calling the older generation out spiritually because they think just because they older they think that my generation or the generation above me or under me feel like we don't know none. The same God you
Right.
serve is the same God that was yesterday, today, and forevermore. He said, I'm Alpha and
Wow.
Omega. He's the beginning and the end. So therefore, if he was already in the beginning when you came about, he is also in the beginning when I came
Because
about.
what he did for you, he
He
can
can do it for me. And they tells you. So if you think about the people in Israel when he sent Moses to talk to Pharaoh. So if God can do that for his people in Israel, what make you think he can't do it for you and I?
She preaching.
So
Let me
when
turn.
he
Let
gets
me
to
hold
do
on.
it
He
to
turned my
us,
camera on.
he's gonna let us know that hey, I was the same God yesterday, and I'm the same God today, and I'm gonna be the same God tomorrow. So whatever God do for you from this point on in your life, understand that He is the Alpha and Omega. So when I know that He's my Alpha, that lets me know He's the head of me, and I know He's my Alpha because He's gonna lead me in a direction that I know I need to go.
Yeah.
And then He's the ending. So if I know that God is gonna be my ending, God is gonna be the one that's gonna lead me through every trial and tribulation. I don't care if the trials and tribulations is good. I don't care if it's hard. I don't care if it's bad. But I know because he said, I'll walk with you. He'll talk with you. And sometimes when you got to be comfort or you is all confused in your head, I'm telling you, when you allow God to enter into your life.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, y'all gonna make me mess around and turn this
No,
thing
you
into
better
a
come
sermon.
on.
Because when
You better come
you
on.
allow God to come into your life, baby, that's gonna be a whole different experience. And what I mean, he's gonna give you an inner and an outer body experience because sometimes we be so cluttered with our own BS till we don't know who God is.
We don't know what he doing.
And because we don't know who he is, and then because we won't let him in, we don't know the way. We think our way is the best way, but I have to learn that my way is not the right way. I have to learn that I have to ask God for direction. I have to learn to ask God, like, Lord, I don't understand this situation, but I know I trust and depend on you. I know you're going to make it.
Yeah.
So if I know that God is going to make it, why should I fear?
Why should I worry?
I
Why
shouldn't
do I
have
worry?
to worry. The book of Psalms, 100 said, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness.
Yep.
Enter into his courts with thanksgiving. Enter to his court with praise. So he let me know that he's there. All I got to do is make a joyful noise. And they say joy come in the morning. He didn't say tomorrow morning, but he said, we've been doing for a night, but joy come in the morning.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you what morning our joy was going to come.
Right. Because it could be in a week, but hey, hold on.
But if you trust and believe in him, you got to know that God is going to provide. He's not only going to provide, but he's going to keep you protected. Yeah. He's going to keep your mind on him. And see, sometimes we got to learn how to step out and let God step in. We got to learn to decrease so he can increase.
I got a question.
Y'all started something.
Okay.
Y'all.
So how do you go? You just said a thing. I'm not going to repeat it because it's too much. You done said a whole.
So much.
This was a sermon we need to. How do you, when things don't look like what you thought they would look like? When you in the valley, and when you know you ask God for this thing, you know you ask God for this way of being, and it doesn't look like it. How do you get through that? How do you stay in his presence? How do you continue to?
I remember the promise. So whatever that promise he promised me, I know I got to go through. And I ask God to constantly remind me of that promise. And I have to ask him to continue to keep me.
So that's you keep your mind. I keep my mind stayed
on him.
Okay.
Not only my mind, but my heart, my soul, my spirit.
Yeah.
Because He's gonna allow distraction to come.
Yeah.
But if you know that he said, Jessica, at the end of this is your
What it's gonna
prize.
be. Mm-hmm.
This is what I promise you. Now you gotta go through some obstacles. It's not how you go through them, it's how you make it out of it.
I
So
feel
when
that.
you allow yourself, better yet, I'm gonna say this.
Come on.
Humble yourself.
Yeah.
Cause see, we too proud to humble ourselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Cause we feel like
We think we did it. You
we
ain't
got
did
it all
nothing.
together. Let me fix my clothes. I got the baddest clothes on. I got the baddest bag on, the baddest shoes.
Well, I do, but no.
But right, but that's really hard.
But God gets the
But
glory.
God allowed it.
Let me tell y'all something. My prayer to God is that when people see me, whether it be a young person, a woman, an older person, when they see me, I want them to see God. I don't want to have to I'm not good at preaching. I'm not good at speaking the word. All I know is what I've been through and what God brought me out of. And so I want to be the type of person who, when I look up, when I walk, when I speak, that it still represents God. God don't never change his mind about me. I don't care how much I mess up. You know what I mean? So I do look good, but to God be the glory because I didn't do it myself. Mm-hmm. If you would have known what I've been through 6 months from now, I don't even like to, I don't know, maybe I'm not at the time where I'm like telling all of my story and I'm, it's my testimony. I don't think it's that time because I don't want to, I want to do too much.
Right.
You're only going to do what God allowed you to do and what you want to do. Because see, I had to learn that. It's sometimes your story, you might not want to tell your story. It's okay.
It's like I don't want to complain. I'm so grateful what he brought me through. I don't want to. I don't want to be like.
I know. I already see where she's going. She's gonna take it right on out. You, Margaret, go ahead.
Say something. Come on.
Go ahead, Lachelle.
You said it earlier. It's about the angle that you're coming from when you talk about it. And you also said the enemy tries to come in to get us to not tell our stories and to have us feel shameful and have us feel all these feelings that God doesn't even feel about it.
Yeah.
So I believe our power is from telling our testimonies. But you're right. Not everything should be told until you get the confirmation from God. Because it's been 2 years since I started the podcast and nobody knows all of my story.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel like some people just tell their story to tell their business. There's no purpose in it, and then there's some stories that are meant to be told for purpose.
Yeah.
So many people right now are suffering in silence.
Yeah.
So many people feel like they're the only ones going through it. Don't understand what to do. This story is not in the Bible, this specific situation or, everything. Listen, everything is in the Bible, but it's not like the situation you just talked about, your marriage. You know what I'm saying? Those situations that someone in 2024 can relate to and learn from.
Yep.
So if you feel there's purpose in it, that's why you share your story.
Yeah.
Not to tell your business.
Right.
And a lot of the time your story, you go through trials and tribulations. And there's a thing to say testimony. Your life is your test. And if you don't have a test, you don't have a testimony. Because your testimony ain't my testimony.
Right.
Vice versa. We got to know when to speak and when not to speak. People just want to speak just to have attention. I'm okay with being in the back line.
Right. That part.
Right. Because see, you know what God do? Because when he hides you,
I'm telling you.
When he hides you and then when it's your time to shine, the whole world gonna know who you is.
And honestly, most of them where they're shining, quote unquote, and it's God that wants them to do it. Most of the time, they don't want to do it. They prefer to be in the background, so that's just, I don't know. Because some people, they do have a good heart. They, they have a good idea, but the intention, the underlying intention be wrong. Are you doing it for a crowd? Are you doing it for the results to help somebody else? And when your true intentions are truly to help somebody else, this is I think a part of my life changed when I started looking at it like this. And I think Jesse just said this too. Our obedience, the things that we do, it's not about us no more. It's about who am I supposed to help and who would be hurt if I don't.
and why.
I'll be hurt if I don't
Your
share
who,
my
what,
story.
and why.
It's crazy how many people have businesses, how many people have podcasts, and don't have that in mind.
Right.
Here's my purpose. Here's what
Right.
God created me to do. How many people
Right.
am I not saving by just not by not doing
not
it?
informing.
You know what I mean?
Not, yes.
Yeah.
Not revealing something that was revealed to you that you're supposed to pass along. You know,
People do it for the ratings.
That's the set. And for me, if it's about that, I'd rather not do it at all.
But you're gonna damage. You're gonna do more damage.
I am so, which is a good and bad part of me, and I'm starting to realize that I'm so good in the background. I'm so good, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm cool. I could be on the camera, but I'm so comfy. So comfy, it's safe. It's safe in the background.
Yeah.
It's safe not to be in public.
Right.
But when God calls you out, sometimes you don't want to do it.
And you're gonna do it whether you want to or not.
Mhm.
It'll happen
Girl.
whether you know that it's happening or not. Next thing you know, you here. And you got a
At the
podcast and
table.
2 books.
That
Okay.
part. That part.
I mean, when I let go and really let God have His way, I can name every book that I wrote.
Yeah.
Um,
And this just the beginning.
Right.
Because Jess is
This-
so powerful.
this ain't-
Like, her voice is so powerful.
Mhm.
Every time you speak, I'm listening to a speech, and it's almost like I watch, I'm just looking, but I see the vision, I see the picture, and I feel the power when you speak. I don't know why I'm going like this, like I never talk to you like that, but I'm all off camera.
She's so silly.
I feel the vision,
Right. But you know, for me, it's not about fame.
right. And
It's
what
not
you
about
want you to
show.
have, you'll have
Especially
that.
when you battle with like embarrassment. Like what I went through was low key embarrassing.
Mine
Why
was
would I
very.
wanna? I'm
Right.
doing it
Exactly.
for you. I'm
Right.
doing it for people. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to save. So
Because how many people hide under the rock after an embarrassing moment?
Right.
You gotta be that like example. Because I went through that. I went through public humiliation, all type of stuff. So
You
know what? You gotta be that example of it. Don't matter what you went through. It matters who you are and what you do about it. That's what matters.
You know, Lord Jesus. One thing I could say is, Lord.
Hey y'all.
People.
I'm silly. Let me turn this off.
People wants everything to be their way. Everything. My thing is, and one of my purpose is to let people know that it's okay about what you went through. It's okay.
I wish you would try to judge me on what I'm in.
No, because
listen, that is my worst nightmare.
To
be honest, it's really my worst nightmare to be judged, to walk in purpose, to know I'm walking in purpose, and then to have somebody say something about the wrong that I'm doing, or in their mind what should be instead.
You're never
that.
I'm telling you,
I like
everything. I'm walking around with a mirror.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm in the right or wrong. I do care if I'm in the right, Lord. But I'm walking around with a mirror. What you just said ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
That don't have nothing to do with you. That whatever they got to say, that is a reflection of who they are, a reflection of what they think about God. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. I wish,
because essentially
I used to be like that though.
Yeah, it's not a good.
I'm not like that no more.
It's the transition from people pleasing, to be honest. And the same way that you hold any man accountable to how he treats you, I feel like it's important to do that to other people too.
That's
friends,
good.
family members. If they don't ask God about you, then they're not gonna know how to treat you.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And even with the people pleasing, sometimes it's not even just the people pleasing. Sometimes when you're looking at it from like a church people, sometimes it's those standards. And so you're like, oh, I want to make sure I'm living up to these standards. But you have to really like look at it clearly.
You know what?
Is this God?
Right.
You know what?
Or is this some tradition?
You know how I get people.
Opinion. Yes.
Y'all know how I get people. And I feel like this. The same God that died on the cross for you was the same God that died on the cross for me.
Yes, that part.
So I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'm not perfect.
I think my pet
Don't-
peeve
Go
is
ahead.
somebody talking about God and judging somebody at the same
At the
time.
same time, you can't do
That's
that.
literally
That's
that's
every
my
day, though.
pet
That's every
peeve.
day
That's
with the
probably
world.
that's my pet peeve. Messing with my son, and that right there, I just can't
Man.
rock with it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Queen.
No, it's cool. That's all about this show today. Where we can openly all have engage in a conversation or whatever God puts on each of us. But for me, I tell people quit judge you not that ye be judged.
Right.
While you trying to judge me in my life, you got 12 months. 6 months to tend to your business, get your stuff straight, and 6 months to leave mine alone. Because nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We all messed up. But I know a man that carried this cross. I know a man that been marched from judgment hall to judgment hall.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody think of me. I have
Right.
really reached that point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Mm.
You can talk about me as much as you please.
Yeah.
Because apparently I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you stop talking about me, I need to check up on myself.
We gonna
Oh,
still be
okay.
talking about you.
Right.
We're gonna be talking about you in the best way possible.
Right.
So,
But yeah,
about
and that's why you gotta pray. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is you gotta pray. But if neither one of these ladies have anything else they want to add, and I have never went an hour and 41 minutes, I'm excited. Yeah. So to all of my guests, do each one of y'all want to leave something?
well, for one, I want to make sure everybody know where to reach you to get your book. You the host. Everybody know where to reach her if they wanted
I
to
was
get a
gonna do
coach.
that.
That's her. And
I
then
love her.
I would love, and this is like my special request, if you two and maybe another young lady or two men specifically talked about divorce and how to heal. And I'm talking about like step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, she want us to get grimy.
Yes.
I think
And
that's
really-
a good conversation
yeah,
to
that-
have.
that's dope.
because-
and only that topic,
Yeah.
nothing else, and really like dive.
Well,
And
let me
I-
know when that happens.
Yeah.
I would be happy to offer my journey, offer
Yes.
perspective from.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down.
And that's me as a fan wanting,
down.
you know what I'm saying, to learn something from y'all, not for your business, because you don't have to tell specifics,
Right.
but you can tell the lesson,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, that was learned in each of the
Mhm.
situations.
Yeah.
So,
All
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it from Miss
Special
Lachelle
requests.
Hooks. We got
As
you.
a fan,
Hold on. Tell the name of your podcast.
Shine Your Light podcast. We talk about the process of life, the journey of life, and becoming the best version of yourself.
She's
And
she's silly.
yes,
How can they
and,
find you?
Lachelle Hooks. Find me on Facebook. I'll be tagged in here,
Yes, she
so
will.
y'all can follow me and all that good stuff. And I just renewed my real estate license, so more information.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo, woo.
Hey, now.
Look at you
Talking
holding
about
out.
Yeah. How many things you do? What
tired of
else?
working.
Whatever.
All right.
Good things coming, y'all.
Well, thank you for that beautiful.
Thank
Now
you.
we
Thank
gonna
you for
move
not
over.
making me cry today, but go ahead.
I did that on purpose.
Jesus.
Miss Desi, please tell everybody who you are and how they can find you, how they can follow you. Tell them more about whatever you want them to know.
Okay, so I'm Desi Grant. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook under Desi or Desi Ray, DeziRae. My business is Beyond Fearless LLC. I am a youth development, women empowerment. I'm a youth life coach. All things youth and women empowerment. Let's see what else. I do have a podcast, but I haven't been in the driving seat of my podcast because I'm not ready to. I haven't been equipped yet.
She's ready.
It doesn't. When it's time to go, when it's time to push, when it's time to push, I'm a push. But for now, I'm just gonna go on tour and offer insight, perspective, little by little, because I still want to speak. I still have something to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, Beyond Fearless podcast. Whenever that drops, I do have my God's Plan Christian journaling planners available. Y'all can't see because the light too bright. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, well, those are available.
She'll drop them.
I have shared the link before, but I will share it. So I should be tagged in this too.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure to link the link for this in my bio.
Well, we want to thank each one of you ladies. I am the host, Jess the Minister. Um, Everybody know who I am that follow my page. With that being said, I want to thank you two beautiful ladies for taking the time out to be special guests on my show.
Thank you for
Desi,
having
thank
me.
you for traveling once again back to your home state. Remember, she has a voice. Remember that nobody has the right to silence you. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.